right, please bear with me. You know, yeah, abs are pretty sharp. Not bad, huh? Coming together a little bit here, huh? For the show. I don't know. Sometimes I think kind of hard to see in the light, but it's working a little. All right, it is I, WJ Warrior Junior here for another educational, fun-filled episode of Me, Myself, and I. Beep, 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 beep. You know that song? Remember? I don't know if you guys remember that. The Me, Myself, and I. It's just Me, Myself, and I. It's kind of cool the way hip hop used to be. 1990 Chub Rock. You remember 1990 Third Base? You remember them? If you go back to my time, 1990s, early 90s, that was a thinking of Marky Mark, boom, boom, bum, 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 boom, boom, bum, 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 ooh, and he comes out, yo, it's about that time to break forth the rhythm and the rhyme. I'm gonna get mine, so get yours. I'm gonna see sweat coming out your pores. And then the woman, the black, you got that good vibrations, boy, you got that sweet sensation. It was really cool, like the Mark came out you know, and then she's singing, like belting out this fucking like Aretha Franklin type, that thing, like with the song. Look it up, Marky Mark, Good Vibrations, really good, like I grew up with this stuff. Sometimes you don't realize how lucky you were to. Oh, cinnamon spice tea, um, organics. Get a pavilion's market to go to. I'm gonna talk about a couple of different things today. Today is the gay parade in West Hollywood here in my area, and um, I'm not going to apologize for anything. I really don't, because you're human beings. We talk about what we say, and you say whatever on here, and I could think of a lot worse. I again, like, how do I say this? And I say I don't care. You're a straight guy. I believe that we all should be treated equally and fairly. Okay, so it's something that I look at it like this. Once it's already like been done already, and like equality, and we're done, there's no need to rehash anything. Well, it's like saying women have the right to vote, right? Or they're given, and that's it. It's done. We don't every year. We don't have to you know uh, keep telling you it's no. They're equal, and that's it. Women have the right to vote. So. Why is it that you have to do this thing that it's remind us constantly that, oh, gay people should be treated equally, of course, whatever, yeah, it's but every year like this parade kind of thing. And what bothers me about it, you close off a major artery like Santa Monica Boulevard, your traffic's trying to get people you can't get to Beverly Hills, you can't get to a valley. It closes off everything for this parade. So um, I think it's nonsensical, really. You know, there's nothing wrong with celebrating diversity, and I'm all for that. But you just have it on the sidewalks. Like people walk, whatever. You don't close off streets. It's like I personally even think the marathon is a stupid idea. Really closing off streets so people can run on the street. I mean, I don't know. There's plenty of places out further away that almost has no cars or anything. You want to have a marathon, go have it out there. You don't need it right in front of people, like where they make their livelihood. Like, I don't know. I just got my own views on a lot of things. um Before I talk about the natural bodybuilding shows in a second, um I'm very, very excited with the new Indiana Jones movie. I've talked about that before. I I like, from what I hear, this is going to be a good one. even the last one I thought was pretty well, pretty well. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. You know, it's really interesting because when you think about it, okay, like Disney, right? They're real smart. These people that make these movies, writing and putting something together. Think about this. They start with like reality, right? Just like Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know, he's a professor. Okay, that makes sense. He's a professor of archaeology. He's teaching. And for like the first half an hour, then like the idea of, you know, remember not informants, the guys working for the CIA. Remember they're asking them about the we see like with this ark, like, you know, it has like this book, and it shows like a picture, like like a mythical thing about light coming out, the power of God. You know, so cool. You know, but you see, there's no fantasy element yet. There's no real fantasy element in the movie's fantasy at the end, of course, but you see how they don't do that right away. You know, they wait for you have to wait till a certain time, further into a movie. Like in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, remember those giant ants, huge ants, you know, that came out of the things, and those don't exist on our planet anyway. But you know, ants that size. But you see, they can't show that to you right away. They gotta like wait a good hour and a half into the movie until you're in already like enveloped into the fantasy world of this. Then you can show nonsense like that. It's not like Star Wars where it's expected, you know, like the first ship comes over, it's firing lasers and cannons, because it's, you know, science fiction fantasy, that you can get away with that from the beginning. Anything that's nonsense. But in like, you know, stuff like Indiana Jones, you know, it had to be done very creatively. It's really interesting, the psychology of this. Um, but I'm gonna say that one thing about this, the Dial of Destiny, like I have a good feeling about this one. Like, you know, has to deal with time travel and stuff like that. And um, but if you knew about, like I said, I don't want to give anything away. I haven't seen it. I don't know. You know, I didn't read the script or anything. But I'm gonna stick my neck out there, and I'm gonna say that if you knew about the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles with River Phoenix, and the opening, the beginning, you see like this old man, you know, you just see his hand, you don't see his face, body, or anything. You see an old man putting like relics into a cabinet, you know, like in school, you know, like it's supposed to be Dr. Jones as a really old man. The point is, like, he was supposed to live, like, to be really old during modern times. So it's very possible, like, what I think is going to happen is, like, there's something to where like he can use this device to go back and do things when he was young, you know, like and stay if he wanted to, but he's going to choose not to. And then you'll see, like at the very end of the movie, he'll be like really old, but in modern times, kids will be on cell phones and everything, but he'll still be alive, you know, um, maybe like around 2000 ish or something. Because like you figure he was like in his 20s, like you think like in 1980. 1936. Remember the beginning of the Raiders of the Lost Ark? They give the dates and stuff. So it's possibly lived to be a really old man. It would be kind of cool, you know, like to settle it out that way. Like that's the way it should have been, you know. Shot 9 times. I like that. Yeah, that should be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. I saw the second. I saw Temple. I saw Raiders with my dad. I saw the second one with my friend Pete, the Chinese theater, like opening night. I was thinking of contacting my friend Pete and asking him if he wants to go see this opening night. But it's playing lots of places, El Capitan, Chinese theater, but there's no midnight show. It's weird. It comes out on the 30th, which is a Friday, but on Thursday, there's like a day show, 3 p.m., 6 p.m. at night. I was like, there's no midnight show. It's not the first show. I don't understand what the fuck they're doing. I want to milk it out fast when it comes out. I guess they want those extra couple selling those tickets early, you know. But maybe I'll try to contact my friend Pete. You know, like both of us are gonna be like 50 years old. It's amazing. We were kids when we saw that movie. You know, when we saw Temple of Doom. Time sure goes, doesn't it? All right. Okay. So as I mentioned, excuse me, geez, while I'm still alive here, long pipe. As we move into summer, or I move into summer, um, I've talked about this a lot. That I spent most of my time gambling in my life, playing poker, stuff like that, and I haven't done any sort of gambling. I did come back from Vegas, but I did not make a bet. Went there to see this dancer. I danced on a show that I did. I'll talk about that some other episode. I think I did before. It's been like close to 70 days already, but I haven't been in the casino even. I mean, well, in Vegas I wasn't, but I'm saying in a card club in LA where I spent a majority of my time. I haven't done that like in maybe 4 or 5 months. So I know the World Series is going on and don't care about it at all. I'm not watching, I'm not looking up any events or anything. And I need something to focus on. I need something really to focus on. And just going to the gym to go to the gym without a purpose will be very stale for me. And I've been working out on and off for 30 years, maybe longer, but I'd say 30 years for sure. Um, and I said, and I contemplated doing a natural show years ago. We were talking to one of the promoters. I even helped promote a show. He sent me all these posters, and I went around to nutrition stores and gyms, asked them to put in the window, and some of them did, and I felt like I was kind of maybe working my way to be in that industry. Um, Not a real big industry. I mean, fitness industry is huge, but natural bodybuilding, who cares? There was a show at my local high school. I remember like 10 years ago, and I went to hang out there, and I remember looking in the auditorium. There was like nobody there. Nobody, literally. I was like, what's going on? People don't show up for this. People work out. It's weird. Like, but for a show, like they don't care. Now, when you talk about NPC shows, it might be a little different story. I remember I was in New York for a big one, a Night of the Champions. I just happened to be in New York, and I was in this theater. Somebody gave me a free ticket, like a front row seat, literally for free. I remember, and it sold out. I remember seeing it, and I saw everybody. I saw like not on stage, but it walked by me. I saw Dorian Yates walk by me, Nicole Bass, Gunter Schulkamp, all these fucking people. It was like, wow. I saw Dave Palumbo. My God, the guy was just wearing like this vest. I thought it was Nazareth somebody, but it was Dave Palumbo. He's wearing this vest with no shirt on, just this vest, and it was the most vascular, biggest fucking guy I've ever seen in my cut. I've never seen anybody that like that vascular, like that Night of the Champions. I remember I was there, and I was, I've never been big. I mean, the biggest I ever got, I have a picture of me with Chris Jericho where I was like 185. For me, it was it was pretty big. I was big, actually bigger than him, because I was just virtually solid muscle. Not super cut detail, but it was like just solid fucking muscle. Like, the biggest I ever was before my kidney stone surgery. Before I just couldn't. The kidney stones are so big they had to be blasted. And I thought about that. I don't want to go back to that being like that. Having those health problems. So I said, okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on building muscle, but being like cut, like really. And if you look at my thumbnail, like I just posted up, it's not bad, Just very hard on myself though, because there's shows coming up in a little over a month. A show in Bakersfield, Central California Championship. And I'm thinking about doing it, like the first time, and I feel like, you know, God, why I should have done this like years and years ago. I should have got on stage, natural, and done my thing. And fucking almost 50 years old now. Like, why didn't I? But you know what? It's like it's one of those guys that like that say, all right, I'm just gonna do this, like because I want to. Like when I ran those half marathons, the first one I had very little prep under my belt to do it, but I did it. Second one I didn't feel good either afterwards, and I remember like when I finished, this one guy working at the Rose Bowl, he saw me and goes, "Oh, you'll once you feel better, you'll you'll do more of these." And I said, "No, I won't." I told him, "No, I won't," because I just said, "What's the point?" I just I felt like, and I had a good time too. It was harder running uphill and round turns and everything. I had like a little over, just a touch over 2 hours. It was pretty fucking fast. I finished ahead of 6,000 people. There were like 8,000 people in that race. I finished, ahead of a lot of them, maybe 7,500 people. I was like top 1,500. Doesn't sound like a lot, but out of 8,000 or 7,500 people, it's not bad. 2 hours running. Think about that. I ran like 2 hours. In 2 hours, I ran 13 miles. I mean, that's not bad for somebody that's not a real runner. Um, and I wasn't really moving. I don't think. But I've been staying with calisthenics now, and I started getting back into the weight training because I thought about it. This is, and I can tell like the difference. I mean, the calisthenics are great. Don't get me wrong, but I got to have that density. I got to have, and I know there's ways like I can get my legs to blow up, like my lats to flare out like thick. And, I feel like with weights, I can get a little bit of that power, I can see it, when I just started doing, tries, my, just, it's going to take a little time, but, when I really start getting back, my tries will fill out more. Um, want to like really make sure my chest, the cuts and the shoulders, really the separation. You don't want to see. You can see my clavicles here. That's still a little thinness. I don't like that. My back is not bad. It's kind of hard to turn and do this right. I mean, I could stand and do it, but it's not. I don't need it. Not really pose down thing for this. But um, I'm thinking, like for this show, you know, it should be interesting, like and fun, like I want to, I gotta have something to focus on in life, like that's gets my mind away from doing bad shit like gambling, like for me, um, I didn't have a good time in Vegas at all, and one of the reasons too is I walked around with my shirt off up and down the strip. I literally was the only person walking, and this is summer. This is like just beginning of summer before Memorial Day weekend. Um, then nobody walking around with their shirt off but me. Like the sun is out and everything. I'm like, what's wrong? And I'm looking at people. Like there were some people running that were jogging in the morning, and I with their shirts off, and I go, God, like I'm not Mr. Olympia here, but I'm better put together than anybody here. And they had a couple guys from the Thunder from down under. I saw the Excalibur. They were taking pictures of people. I go, yeah, they had this little blown up kind of look. I know it's from taking, but they weren't really detail cut, really. And then there were a couple of Chippendales guys that were blowing up like that, and one other guy. Besides that, I saw nobody that was like really in shape, And I said to myself, Mike, I said to myself, Warrior Junior, if you're that, in that good condition, what about doing a fucking show? Why not? And I know, like I'm probably these guys are, my friend Alex is telling me that, oh, you're gonna be the only one natural there. These guys are gonna, I said, you know what? don't worry about anything. I watched actually on YouTube, and I seen all these guys. They look natural to me, whatever. Some of these black guys, they got great genetics. They have great separation, and not necessarily that thick, but good. And it's like, what, good for them. If I get blown away, whatever. If I don't make it past the prejudging or whatever, fine. Like I just, but I saw it was kind of cool, like this Iron Man natural show at the end of July. These like big medals. Like I like it, because I have these medals. I know it sounds so stupid and superficial, but it just gives me a sense of like, accomplishment to work towards something. For something that I kind of know about, like in fitness, and then to walk out of a thing going, just to say I was there, it's like when I see like the Mr. Olympia, like all those guys on stage, it's all subjective, of course, who wins, but they're all there, like to say that they were in the Olympia, like I like something like that. If I can get on stage, and say I was in the Iron Man, like I held my own, maybe walk out with a medal. I'm not thinking to win anything, but I'm one of those guys, but I will work fucking pretty damn hard on myself to, hold my own. Like, Dorian Yates, it was interesting what he said. He goes, when I walked on stage, I wanted them to drop their pencils. And what he meant by that was, it's like game over. Like when you stand on stage, or bam, like now of course, 300-pound mass monster cut like that, I'm not harboring any. I know what I'm gonna look like when I get on stage. I'm probably gonna be about $160, but I really, I know that like I can get my legs to fill out, be cut up a lot more. I get my lats to flare out, like I can bring a nice little package. I said in my abs, like I never really trained abs, but when I got into boxing, I started eating abs, and you know. I could see like the striations on this, the obliques on the sides and the serratus, and I'm gonna work more on the front. I really, I want to see like the lower abs, like the veins coming in, like to where that real beautiful V taper that you get, like in that. I think I can bring something kind of like people say, wow, this guy's not bad, like that's how I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. So. I might do that Bakersfield show. I'm going to actually talk with the promoter. I think I talked to them years ago about this, and I say this is my first time. I think I'm going to have fun. I'm going to have fun with this either way. Good to have something to try to go for in life. Like just seems like kind of ties into that Indiana Jones thing. You're going to get older. You're not going to be able to do a lot of these things anymore. So if you got a shot at something, fucking go for it. Why not? Sometimes shit can blow up in your face, though. And you know what? Look, I had that when I went to Vegas. There was this porn star. Like I've always wanted to meet her. I knew where she lived by the lakes, and I went to her. I went to her fucking house. And I think her son happened to be walking out, and I thought it kind of came off well, my introduction, but I got threatening text messages. Motherfucker, don't show up here ever again. Whoa, so sometimes, just because you go for things in life, it doesn't always work out the way that you want. So, but that's okay, because I always believe like it's better to have known and better to have tried than to go through life and not to have known. So my best advice to you, like if you're somebody, if I would really tell somebody, what I think, don't you're going to have to like eat crow at times. You're going to have to. Those guys, they're gonna motherfucker get the fuck out of here. But like that's okay. I'd say to go for things. There's a difference between stalking. That's come on then. And if you don't know what that is, you should research, look it up. But I've heard of real estate agents going to people's house. Like they're just going by. Somebody happens to be walking out. You're on the sidewalk. You're not on their property. You're not knocking on their door. You're not in their garage on their private property. There is a fine line between, like we call it mishigas in Yiddish. It's like the craziness. It's unorthodox ways of doing things. And again, I'm not condoning that. But we're talking about a porn star here. You know, a woman, she gets fucked on camera, and she, used to be going meeting guys at the hotel. In this situation, she just wasn't available, and I don't take hints. I don't take hints. I'm sorry, I got to be told no, and because like it's like in the pickup community, you miss 100% of shots you don't take. You don't try. You're not. The women, they just are not going to come up and give it to you. They're not going to. No one's going to give you actually anything in life. You really have to go out there and put yourself out there to be embarrassed, ridiculed, whatever. At least try. You see the successful people, but there's people that have fucking failed miserably in life. I watched this Arnold Classic thing, and this one guy, they had an amateur division, and this guy got on stage, and this guy looked like a well-conditioned runner. He's not a bodybuilder at all. Like, he had no thickness or anything, and they're making fun of this guy. But he's in good shape, like but he's not bodybuilding shape. Like so. It's like it's funny that guy was walking around. You say, wow, that guy's in good shape, but he's not bodybuilder, on stage type shape. There's a big difference. Or physique shape. You got to have the separation, between the muscles. It's got to look. You can't. It's not. A runner's look is not acceptable. It's not that. But hey, at least the guy could say, hey, I got on stage, to compete. I didn't look great or anything, but I was on the stage at a major show. I mean, that's pretty damn commendable to me. Like you go to the gym, you think you're something, but yeah, go ahead and get on a stage, dude. See how it's you. That takes a little cojones to do. They say they say 5% of bodybuilders compete. And that it takes a lot because they're gonna look at the detail and say, well, hey, this guy's got this and that, but he doesn't have that. Like his calves are no good. They're gonna critique you up, down, left, and right, and strong points and the negative, and you're going to try to really put the emphasis on that negative. I mean, you look at guys like Chris Bumstead, you can't find him. He's like, Jesus Christ, or whatever. But a lot of people, they just don't want that. They don't want to, to be ridiculed and embarrassed, and stuff like that. And I was when I started dancing. I would talk about that. I'm not going to do that right now, but I was really and I feel like that's what I have on me as being a little bit older. I've been through all of that shit. I can take it, I can really take it, and it's important in life that you don't leave anything out there as the ghost of regret when you die in your deathbed or whatever, and saying, hey man, I fucking do that when I could have. I was worried about what everybody thought about me. Fuck them. Don't worry about that. So anyway, I'm off to the gym, and I'm gonna lift some weights. Started doing legs. I was real light, man. I couldn't. I have like no power really, but it's fine. I actually feel my legs kind of growing. And I say to myself, just remember that I'm going to the gym. I'm not there to compete to see who can lift more weights. And I shouldn't care what people looking at me watching. It's all he's got is 10 pounds on each side of the leg press thing. That's it. Yeah, that's it. But when I get on stage and you see the separation in my fucking, in my legs and shit like that, and anybody that says that, generally I look at them. There's one guy who's looking at me like I had like, again, 10 pounds on each side of the hack squat thing. Like nothing, right? Barely. But it was enough for me, like I'm just getting started now. I haven't done that in 3 years, like, but I can feel like my all the legs, all the muscles are working in there, and that's what's important when I get on stage. Like how this is presented, it's not some guy trying to like impress some guy that that weighs 50 pounds more than me. That and first off, that guy that was looking at me, all those guys are taking steroids at my gym. They don't even look like anything. They look just like bloated up kind of thing. And those guys, I can. I walked into the weight area. I usually hang out by the heavy bags and do my thing, but now I'm hanging out and I'm saying I'm better put together than anybody in this fucking place. No offense, like my separation. You guys are not even close to me, and this is my first week back into doing this, so I could really start talking. But again, it's supposed to be no judgments. I'm not there to you know, to show these guys anything. But I will tell you this: if I show up at that fucking central championship, you know, whatever the bodybuilding natural thing, I'm gonna hold my own there. In the Ironman one, I plan on fucking holding my own. That's I've seen what these guys are. They're not bad, you know, like and just like me, not bad, you know. So I will like you give me that fucking spray tan, you know, and fucking and that's all I gotta do. Yeah, I just bought a fucking electric razor, you know, the hair off. That's nothing, you know. I'm gonna come in fucking damn fucking cut, you know, damn with separation and a little bit of density there. I feel like I can hold my own with these guys. I mean, I'm sorry, you know, like I think I got, you know, all my knowledge, everything that I know, what I'm taking, you know, the money that I'm willing to spend on good food, you know, like my focus, my determination. You can't. It's so like when I'm dialed in and I'm serious, you're gonna, you know, like, you know, I think like I'm really something because, and that's not ego. It's just because I'm willing like to fucking like suffer. Like I'm willing to fucking suffer like for something that's like most people not willing to do it. You know, like they're like, well, who cares about it? Yeah, exactly. Who cares? I do. I do. Because I look at it like this: if at least my mind is focused on this bodybuilding show for like 2 months, then I'm not thinking about playing cards. I don't care. It cost me like 3, 4 thousand to get ready for a show. Like all the food, the labrada. You know how much that protein powder costs? It's $50 a fucking 2.5, 2.47 pound thing. I go through that like it's nothing. $50, $50, $50. I don't care. I don't care. You get this amino fuel thing. It was like $25. It was like I seen it Rite Aid for 50. I got it for half. I buy it. I don't care. You know, meals like at Trader Joe's, those things that eat like $8, $9 a fucking meal. I don't care. I don't fucking care. I know people say, well, how much money? Fuck you. If you say how much money you get from winning a show, you're an idiot. You know, like you don't. It's not has nothing to do with that. It's a personal fucking challenge. Most people, they're just they're ants, like my friend Alex calls them. They're ants. They don't understand nothing. Never accomplished nothing. Never went after nothing. I'm not saying you have to compete to be anything in life, but you know, just most people, like I just don't relate with them. There's this guy I used to talk to, Chris. You know, he's hands out flyers for for some gay promoter his whole life. He's got absolutely nothing to show for it. Takes in homeless people. Like he just never went after anything in his whole life. Never went after nothing. Nothing. He missed getting his high school equivalency by 1 point. He told me once, and then he gave up. It's just somebody that just stays down in life. You know, that they never will have, and you never will have nothing. It's your life. You know, like you know, I can't be like that. You know, I can't. I gotta try. You know, I gotta try. I gotta try to be this. I gotta try to do that. I gotta try to be here. I gotta try. Because I walk around, I see these women that are so attractive to me, and it's like, I, I, if I don't try to be anything, I'll never get anything like it. Why would they want you? That's what my friend Newman, but he's a little. And then there's this other gay guy lives in my building. Goes, you're living on low income in a poor thing. Yeah, you know what? You can criticize, judge, and ridicule. At least I'm fucking working my ass off the best I can. I'm trying to build my credit the best I can. You know, I just passed 2 more health classes, you know, and my doctorate degree. That I'm going to see what the story is, but you know, that's maybe not as important as I thought. I'm not saying it's over, but you know, like my still master's of public health, and at least I'm trying to do things, you know, as far as eBay business, little, you know, I'm always trying to like better myself little by little on things. Maybe the right woman will never come along. Maybe the right woman will never appreciate it, but you know, everything I do is for me. If the right woman sees it in me, great. It would be great to meet a woman in fitness. It'd be nice to fuck a hot chick that works out. I would love it. I just don't really have any luck meeting any women, but it's okay, you know. Anyway, there's more to life than a natural bodybuilding show. There's more to life than this and that, but at least it gives me something, at least to dream toward, to focus on. I gotta have that. Gotta have that. If I don't have that, it's like I feel like what the fuck, just floating around doing nothing. I can't. I can't. Then I'll wind up, playing cards, thinking I got a shot to win some gold bracelet or something. And I'm not. Look. I did that a year ago. It didn't happen. I just don't like that life. They're trying to make it out like it's a real skill set. It might be for some people, but not for me. I mean, I just tired of that bullshit. At least I know when I go and I buy $50 protein thing, I can see the results. You saw when I took my shirt off. That ain't from just doing a couple push-ups, man. That's I call it the big five. I call it. I'm not, I didn't coin it, but the big five is the time put in, the energy, the food, the supplementation, and the pharmacology. Don't worry the pharmacology. Don't think steroids are there. I'm talking tribulus. I'm talking fucking, creatine chews. I could go under supplementation, but like, you know, I have some stuff I get like anabolic activators. No, it's all over the counter shit that you can get. It's not SARMs really and nothing like that, but it has some anabolic properties that and I don't think like I it's not like methyl test or stuff that like banned substances from dietitians as far as I know. Um, but things you can get over the counter that would help. All this shit works synergistically if you put in the time, if you put in the energy, if you put in the good food, if you put in the the right supplementation, get good sleep, like everything. It's a sacrifice, man. I don't want to tell you how tired I was. I slept all fucking, I was so tired after that leg workout. I used to run around dancing till 4 in the morning trying to get to these places and back. And I said, what the fuck am I doing all this shit for? I'm not meeting any women. I'm exhausting a lot of energy and getting agitated. Well, then fuck that. Fucking fuck that. So anyway, we'll see. Anyway, that's for now. Going to the gym and I'm going to put in the work. That's what I like to do. So, with that being said, hope everybody has a nice day. Nanu, nanu.